Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quacking Pancakes Podcast, filmed here in Kornwall Studios in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Kory Hong.
And I'm Evan Mulvane. For today's episode, we interviewed our first rock band on the show, Movers. You may remember Drew Cerero from our hockey episode. It was nice reconnecting with him, as well as meeting his bandmates, Brian, Colin, and Jack.
We'll explore a little bit about how they got started as a band, what it was like for them operating during the last year, and what we can expect from them moving forward.
It's our best episode yet, and you're not going to want to miss it. So without further ado,
let's get into it. So welcome, guys. We're so glad that you all could take the time to join us on the show today. So the way that things usually open up is that, we'll share some pop culture news that came up this week, and that usually turns into a discussion of its own. Afterwards, we'll move into the Quacking Pancakes question of the week that me and Evan curate ourselves. And then we could jump in the interview. But before all that, though, would you all mind taking a moment to introduce and reintroduce yourselves?
Hey, yeah. I've already been on Quacking Pancakes. I was featured in episode 3 with Travis Bikey. But again, if you didn't have that episode or you didn't see that episode, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's really funny. But again, my name is Drew Cerero. I'm an alumni of the University of Georgia, and I became friends with these guys a few years ago through band and through living together, and there are just a bunch of other things. And it's really good to have a bunch of creative friends. I'm also the drummer with Movers, and that's what this one is. Today, this feature, and I'm really glad to be a part of this one. So I'll go ahead and send it over to the rest of the band.
All right. Awesome.
Hi, I am Brian Wilson. Not the Brian Wilson, but I am a Brian Wilson.
Hi,
very nice.
Hey, Brian Wilson.
I am the bassist of the band.
Okay.
Awesome.
What's up? Name's Jack Johnston. I'm the keyboardist with the band. That's fun.
Awesome.
Sounds
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
And you were a recent addition. Is that correct?
Yeah.
A relatively recent.
Sort of.
Gotcha. Awesome.
We'll get into that later.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm Colin Ferguson. I'm the guitarist of the band.
Guitar.
Very nice. Very nice.
Let's go ahead and transition to the news segment.
All right, so we don't have a whole lot of big national news stories. The only thing that we could really find was you guys baseball guys. I know Drew, you're kind of a baseball guy. You hear about
all baseball guys here. Cool.
All 4 of us.
You guys hear about the lockout that's imminent?
We did, yeah. And,
Got any opinions on that?
not really, other than kind of knew it was going to happen. Much kind of like how the hockey lockout was about 15 years ago.
Right.
The only thing I'm really bummed about is the Braves didn't manage to sign Freddie Freeman before it.
Right.
He's not the only one, so it gives me hope. I know Carlos Correa hasn't been signed, and there's some other guys who don't have a team going into the lockout. But It's a bummer. I hope we get spring training, and I hope we get opening day on schedule.
Same.
I really don't know what else to think about it other than that.
No, that's fair.
That's about all we got.
Yeah, we can transition in the Quacking Pancakes question of the day. So our question is, or is this a question of the day or the question of the? I guess it's a question of the day now. But all right, what flavor of gum do you wish existed?
There's a flavor that does not exist, and you could say, okay, I'm just gonna pop one in, just roam around town. What kind of gum do you wish existed? You wanna start off? Or?
Yeah, I'll start off. I was thinking something like food, but then I was like, that'd be kind of weird. Have you guys seen like Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where they have like the 3-course meal? Yeah, like I was like, yeah, that's cool, but then I feel like that'd be like really weird afterwards to have like the consistency and texture of gum, and then you're trying to eat like soup or something. I was thinking maybe some kind of float, like a Coke float or like a root beer float or like a Dr. Pepper float, because that's kind of like in between like a drink and like ice cream almost, but it's like it's a flavor that obviously is not like available. I think that'd be like a pretty interesting vanilla kind of flavor in there.
I think it really expands the boundaries of gum to something that I'm not sure it was ever meant to be.
That's true. That's true.
Colin, you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
tell us about your fantasy flavor?
fantasies.
I had the same like, oh no, this is a Willy Wonka type question. Probably like whiskey flavored
Oh.
gum.
That could be good. Yeah.
Is it just flavored or would it be alcoholic?
There would be versions of both. There would be a
Okay.
non-alcoholic and an alcoholic version.
I know. I just had I don't remember what. Oh, it's Spirits. I don't remember the brand, but there's Spirits flavored ice cream out there, and it's like 0.00006% alcohol. And I think like I got that. And it's pretty cool.
Oh, man.
It's like that video where the guy's like, "Oh, mom, this is great. What'd you put in it?" He's like, "Oh, there's a little wine," and he like hits his head on the table, and like he like passes out, gets super drunk.
I actually do have one. And it's
Go ahead.
if you know, you know. And I think there might be about 3 people who are going to watch this episode who know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you've ever had Creature Comforts, try it.
Oh,
You know, I've seen that because I really like the logo on it.
Dude, every day I just want to come home and drink one of these because it tastes like nothing else I've ever had before. And it's got like cucumber and lime and sea salt.
oh wow.
I sound like a complete just snob when I'm talking about it. But if you've ever had it, it's the Tritonia. It's like a seasonal. God dang, man. Anyway, it's really good. And I think if I could just like chew on something that tastes like this all day, I totally would because it's that good.
Is it
Okay.
just beer or what is it?
It's beer. It's like a sour. I don't
Okay.
even like sours, but this is awesome. So
Okay. And it's like local to
yeah,
Atlanta
it's
or
Athens.
oh Athens. Okay.
Yeah, Creature Comforts.
Cool.
The guys that used to be Terrapin, and now they
Oh,
sold Terrapin. They became Creature Comforts.
Gotcha.
I did not know that. Well, beer history.
Yeah, if you ever get the chance, make a pilgrimage to the brewery out here. It's pretty.
They need to send a sponsorship right now.
Yeah, please. Hey, Creature Comforts. If you're watching this, we'd love to collab, just like Rush did with Henderson. And
Creature Comfort tour featuring movers.
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, we need to make a movers beer. So Creature Comforts, if you're watching, we'll make it happen.
You guys, anybody else got any gum flavors?
Root beer.
Root beer.
Root
That'd be
beer.
good. That'd be really good. Okay. Cool. I think the one that I had here was Arnold Palmer, and it'd be like one of those Trident layer kind of things where it's like one side is lemonade and the other side is like sweet tea. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was thinking
man.
about lemonade, but I was like, that sounds better. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
lemonade.
agree with that one.
I'm actually kind of surprised there's not like a lemonade gum. That seems like something that
I
would
think-
exist.
I think there was. It's like I'm pretty sure it was like 2004. Like I'm pretty sure LeBron had like Hubba Bubba flavored like lemonade gum. Like I'm gonna put this up on the screen when the episode comes out. I'm pretty sure that was a thing, but obviously it's not a thing anymore.
Sprite
But
cranberry lemonade gum.
Oh,
no, Sprite.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
actually,
be really
yeah,
good.
Sprite cranberry, I changed mine.
Yeah. We got
Okay.
Evan. We have a funny little origin story about Arnold Palmer and our movers lore.
Oh really?
I think it was Colin. This is a few
It
years
was
ago.
Colin.
Basically, one of us took out an Arnold Palmer, and I just looked. I was like, "Is that George Bush?" Just-
So from then on, we've called Arnold Palmer George Bush.
Senior or junior?
Junior.
Probably.
Okay.
Evan Evan has like this weird history with HW.
Honestly, I have no idea where that came from. But I think let's transition into the thing that we're all here for, the
The interview.
interview part of the podcast here.
Will they get the job after this interview?
Yes. Why do you think you're fit to be on the podcast? No. But in actuality, just first we kind of want to ask a very general question. Where did the name Movers come from? What is that? Where did that originate?
Well, so I mean, this was actually years ago. We had actually gone by another name called Canvas Caravan before.
Canvas Caravan.
In the running of that name, Movers was already an idea, but then we thought Canvas Caravan was too complicated for people to remember easily. Like, I don't know, like what were some examples of some things people would think like?
I think the one we really kind of took and ran with was the Carcass Cancer Van.
Oh yeah,
That's kind of what we referred to ourselves. We were
Well,
like 17. So.
Okay.
yeah, we were edgy and 16. Like teenage.
Oh, so that was like an actual name that you guys had for the band.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
Not Carcass Cancer Van.
No.
Okay, not
Canvas
that one.
Caravan.
Okay, okay.
There was all sorts of permutations of Canvas Caravan that got butchered, and it was like, well, nobody can say this. And
Canvas Caravan sounds like an ice cream truck, but instead of selling ice cream, they sell like jean jackets or something.
like one of those shitty like touristy vehicles you get at the sell like the $5 t-shirts that break apart in the water in 10 seconds.
I think Drew told me a while ago that movers is something about moving houses or something too, right?
Yeah, we always kind of got roped into helping other people move, and
Yeah.
we still do.
Most
like, a
recently.
lot. And like not just like being college kids or anything. I mean, like since we were like preteens,
like 13.
we'd have to
12.
like help people move for some reason all the
And,
time.
And then a lot of times we would do it, and then because we had nothing else to do because we were middle schoolers, we go back and play shit ton of Rush at my house. And
And like Star Wars Battlefront 2.
yeah, and then that's
Nice.
Yeah, I got the PS2 here. It's wonderful. We'll have to do a whole other episode on that, but
So is everyone a huge Star Wars fan like Drew is?
Yeah.
I think Drew is the biggest Star Wars.
Definitely
yeah,
the biggest.
I'm the
Maybe
most
next
like
Colin.
yeah, Colin's
Yeah.
probably number 2, but I'm more like a classic Star Wars fan. Colin is really more into the newer stuff.
No, I'm more into like the prequels era
Oh, well,
stuff.
yeah, same.
Yeah. I'm way bigger on the prequels stuff. But Drew and I have similar opinions about the sequels.
I think we all
Interesting.
pretty much share that
Yeah.
sentiment there.
But
I mean-
see with episode 1.
I love me
So
some
boring.
prequels though.
Drew, don't you just listen to like the soundtrack or something to the
I do.
prequels?
I do listen to the prequel soundtrack a lot.
God, what
It's just a guy who listens to Lamp.
I actually have a funny story about listening to Star Wars soundtracks. My Spotify Wrapped got screwed up because there's this playlist that puts all of the soundtracks from all of the like Star Wars shows and movies in order, and I listened to it all the way through. And like it dominated so much of what I listened to throughout the year that it just destroyed my Spotify Wrapped and made 3 out of the 5 artists on there from that and made my top genre soundtrack.
You're in the top 0.001% of Star Wars music.
People that listen to Ludwig Göransson.
Kevin Kiner.
All right. So going off the whole thing about, just a little more about who you guys are, how did you all really meet and get started as a band?
Oh well, we all actually grew up together.
Okay.
But the OG kind of start of this band actually started with Brian. He was the first one to learn an instrument. God, how were we, like 6?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
7?
probably like give or take 7, 8.
Yeah, around that time. And Brian got a bass, and he got really good at bass.
I got obsessed with it.
Yeah. And I was like,
Very
well, I
nice.
want to be like Brian. And so I went and I got my parents to buy me a guitar, and I totally sucked at it. I was like, this isn't fun. I hate this, and I suck, and I don't know how Brian does this. So I got really jealous. And then my parents enrolled me in piano lessons, which I was actually pretty good at, but I also hated because I hated playing notes.
Right.
Then I joined school band in the 6th grade, found drums, absolutely fell in love with drumming. Really started to play with Brian a lot when I got a drum set for Christmas one year, and that was kind of the genesis, pun intended, of of our band now. And so it really kind of started with Brian and I when we were really young, 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11. We cycled through a number of guitarists, and actually still some good friends of ours who we're still in touch with, who are doing really good things. Ben Snowden, I'll name drop him now. He does a lot of really cool shit with programming. He owns his own business over in Marietta. He's a KSU grad. He was actually our first guitar player, just another childhood friend of ours, but he's doing really great shit. And he also helps out with like some of the more technical aspects. Sometimes I'll hit him up if I need something done, and he's always happy to do it. Great dude. So check him out. I don't remember the name of his business, but I'll drop it. And then when we were in high school, we added Colin. And Colin was in band with us. We grew up with him. My mom and Colin's mom were actually in color guard together at South Carolina High School in the 80s. They graduated in the same class. So fitting, Colin and I were in the marching band together. And then Jack is actually younger than the rest of us. And he graduated in class of 2018. And Brian and Colin and I were class of 17. And one day we kind of just decided, hey, we need a keyboard player. And so we added Jack to our group chat.
Oh,
That's
the christening.
history. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, and that's kind of how it all came to be. And this is the current, hopefully final iteration of Movers that, is going to make a lot of money one day.
I think
Right,
that it
yeah.
is.
So
We think that it is.
so like up until I guess Drew moved back to the Gwinnett Athens kind of ecosystem over there, like was this kind of on hiatus like when you were at Georgia Southern, or how did you guys operate and function then?
We really didn't form our kind of final identity here until 2019 when I did enroll at Georgia. It's mainly because I don't think any of us were good enough. And that's a big part of like who we are and like what we do is that we're all perfectionists, and we'd like to present a really good product out there, and we like to have really good live shows. And so many bands that I see, especially like younger bands and guys that are our age and stuff, there's some talent there. They don't quite have it all down, and we were like, we don't really want to go out and put a product on either a recording or on at a live show that's not exactly how we want it to be. So that's why we take our time doing a lot of different things and really and like focus on the details. And so we were all kind of together. We were all kind of apart because Jack was up here at UGA and he was in the Redcoat band, and I was down at Southern, and Brian actually lived in Atlanta for a while with Lunar Vacation. We all
wow.
Yeah, and we studied our own kind of way of doing things, and when we all reconvened, it was just kind of like lightning in a bottle. It was really, really awesome. And we've just kind of been going from there, and especially out of COVID, it's really been just like just all hands on deck, kind of balls to the wall, any metaphor you can think of, just all wheels rolling, eastbound and down.
Eastbound and down. Have you guys seen that show?
Yeah,
it's a great show. Evan hasn't seen it.
I haven't
yet.
seen it. No, have not seen it. So, what was that?
no, we got ourselves a bear.
But I was gonna kind of ask, maybe for the future when we have like millions of viewers on the podcast, who may not know, but Athens is a pretty music heavy kind of town, would you say? So I kind of just wanted to ask, what was it like starting a band in that kind of music centric city like Athens? Did UGA have any like resources for you guys, or how did that kind of help you guys start your music careers?
Well, I think just generally the community is just I don't know, there's a lot of nice people that like art and music, and rock music is one of the bigger ones out here, though there's also like country and whatever, bluegrass, but rock is still prevalent out here as it I guess used to be, because there was like REM and B-52s and the whole like Neutral Milk Hotel, like
the widespread
Elephant Six whole thing happened. But yeah, I guess not a lot has happened like that, like super what would you call it? What's the word?
I'll just say like harder rock hasn't exactly been as popular as it was obviously in the 80s and the 90s, although I think, in my opinion, that's making a little bit of a comeback. But still, even Athens has produced a lot of really popular bands. Like Hotel Fiction comes to mind as probably the one right now that obviously is like gotten really big from Athens, and of course they've moved to Nashville and they're on a big label.
Mm.
all that stuff. So I think, and it's kind of moved more into this kind of jangle pop, like kind of indie sort of music, which is good. We have a lot of friends who play that type of stuff. We've been on bills with that. It's just a little bit different than what we normally do. And I think that we also kind of bridge that gap between kind of more newer music and kind of the more older stuff like REM. And I think Athens is just a great synthesis of all sorts of artists and all sorts of musicians. And there's a lot of really cool places to play too. There's space that's here.
Right.
Really, I think it's one of the biggest factors that kind of contributes to Athens as a music town is that there are just a billion places to play. We got to start at Flicker Bar. And, like there's touring bands that come through there. And that's honestly how we started, was with touring bands. And we're just hopping on opening bills and playing for half an hour. And it was a lot of fun. And we kind of moved up to, I don't want to say move up because they're all, there's anybody plays anywhere on a given night because this is Athens. But our give a little shout out. Our kind of home ice is Nowhere Bar out here, and we love playing there. There's always a really good built-in crowd. They love like rock music. They love the type of stuff we're playing, and it's honestly a really cool space, really cool atmosphere. Drinks are cheap. Really good band drink deal because we don't really pay for drinks.
That's nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and the owner's really nice too, and he pays his band. So that's another part of at least I hate this word, but the culture of Athens and the music, just kind of the music environment out here. It's just really cool, and there's good space,
Definitely.
nice people.
Seems like a great place to get started for sure.
Yeah. So who would you guys say is probably your favorite band, that like touring band that came through that you guys opened for, if there is one, or maybe a few of them?
For me, probably No Moniker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a band they're from Richmond, right? They're from Virginia, but they're from like Richmond area. Kind of they play now they're playing more kind of like indie pop funk. They're going in a kind of funk direction. It's really
It seems like
cool.
everyone plays funk nowadays. It's like such a concentrated genre.
It's funky.
It's
funky.
true. That's very true.
Bring the funk.
It's true, Drew.
Yeah, we
Can't have too much
really
funk.
liked- yeah, we really liked No Moniker. They came down, and it was like their first show in Athens. They just hit us up on Facebook, actually. They're like a couple like different music groups, and we just hopped on. We have a good working relationship with them, and we're still in touch. We share their music, they share our music, and it's pretty chill. They crashed at our place after a show one night, and we were out there and we're just having some drinks and talking, and it was a lot of fun. They're really chill dudes. And at the time we were a 3-piece, and they were also a 3-piece. I think they still
Oh.
and so we really got it, kind of hit it off with that. And we were talking about a lot of our same influences and how we really liked, Rush, and we liked the Police. And they were like, "Holy shit, we like the Police too." And it was good. We're still really good friends with them. So give them a follow at No Moniker.
No Moniker.
We'll have to get them on the show.
Yeah.
I got to send you Kory a list here. But there's a.
It's Evan just asked me this question the other day about like when I was like in art school and like if it's competitive or anything like that. Can you guys hear that?
We got some dogs.
We got some dogs. But
Go Dogs.
Boo. But basically it's like he was asking me when you're being criticized like in art class or something, or you're being asked to criticize somebody else's, like what that experience is like, and being in Athens and just trying to make it as a band. I'm guessing there's at least like 1,000 other bands there, is it really, in you guys' experience, it's really like you're not really trying to compete against anyone or like see anyone fail? Is it really? It's like you're kind of just meeting all these people. It's like it really is, you're all in this together, right?
Yeah, everyone's really just trying to have a good time, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Right.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit. Drew mentioned Rush and the Police. Do you guys have any other kind of influences or favorite bands that you've kind of, not necessarily took things from, but just have been influenced by in your works?
Pink Floyd is probably very big right after Rush right now, specifically.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Especially on this new album that's coming out.
Yeah. Pink Floyd and like older Genesis, like Selling England by the Pound kind of era. Genesis is probably biggest influences right now.
Gotcha.
Aside
Very
from
cool.
Rush.
And yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So
Great
without
band.
giving too much away, is there really like, do you guys see it as kind of like a shift in genre or just developing, fine tuning, however you guys are trying to produce this new album?
Maybe more like a shift in sound than a shift in genre. Because I think we're still sitting in that kind of like psych prog area,
Mm-hmm.
but we might shift a little bit more towards like one side or the other at any given point. But this new album sees a lot of elements from both of that. So if anything, yeah, we're probably just diving deeper into the genre that we already kind of tried to establish that we were.
Okay. Very cool. Well, yeah, we'll get into the a little bit more into the first album a little bit here later because we got some things to talk about and we're excited. See what you can see what you guys have to say. No, they're all good. They're all good.
Oh boy.
So I guess the next thing we kind of have is you guys kind of established yourself. I think the first kind of post we saw was in 2019, and you kind of kicked things off during COVID. What was that like as a band, kind of trying to get your start during a pandemic when you can't really perform?
Well, we had actually like really kicked off in well, we started playing around
It was like,
around the end of 2018.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah, and
Got it.
that's when we like really tried to start like kicking it off there. And so we had that whole
Yeah, spring there in the summer.
or wait, actually I mean it was 20. What year did the pandemic happen again?
So we when we started getting big back in Athens or out in Athens, it was or like getting out more in Athens, it was like October 2019,
Yeah,
Okay.
2019.
right
yeah.
before the pandemic started.
okay, so you guys were like performing and like, oh, this is fun, and then oh nope, sorry, you can't do that anymore.
It was so
Yeah.
tough because we had, at least in my opinion, I think we had some pretty good momentum going into
Mhm.
basically into the spring of 2020. Like, we were supposed to do a feature out here at a recording studio, and they do. It's called the what were they called? The graffiti sessions, and it was like it was one really cool gig that we were supposed to do. It was like a live listening room. We were gonna get a live recording of everything, and of course it was just only sat like 30 people. It was really tiny, but obviously it was like really like attuned towards listening. And that show, I still remember it was literally the Saturday, like right after it was supposed to be that Saturday, that weekend that COVID hit, and we never got to play it. And from then to June 2021, this past June, we didn't play a single show for over a year, plus some change.
So what was that? Was that first show back? Like, was it like a really like, oh, it's so good to be back, or like were you guys a little rusty, or how was that
I
experience?
think we were a little rusty as our performing chops. It was over at the Red Clay Music Tavern in Duluth, and we were opening slot, but and we played, and I thought we played really well, but also looking back, especially considered to how we played at the last show we had, my goodness, it was I just think we totally didn't play as well as we do now. But again, it was knocking all of the rest off because we hadn't played a live show in over a year. And like a big thing about us is that we put a lot of effort and detail, and our big part of our kind of like identity as a band is our live performance, and we take that very seriously. And almost like, because we do it all the time, and we do it at various places here in Athens, and it's kind of like our thing is to put on a really exciting and entertaining live show. And plus it's really fun and we love doing it. And kind of coming out of COVID, I think kind of gives us a little bit of a renewed sense of like gratefulness to be able to play live, and also the fact that like, wow, like we didn't do this for a while, and then we've just come on here and we've played, God, how many shows have we played since June? A lot. And we played we played like 6
It's a big number.
October alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, that was hard, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we kind of came out of October and into November like, wow, man, we did all of that, and we were working full time, and and we're trying to record an album at the same time. It was great.
Gotcha. So, you guys kind of alluded to this earlier that you're all perfectionists in kind of your craft. And when you came out of the pandemic into your first show, there was a little bit of performance rust there. You guys typically wear like in-ears when you guys play or anything?
We don't have the money for in-ears.
Okay. I was just gonna ask, because you guys are such, perfectionists in such a, I hate to say like math heavy genre, but do you guys like how do you guys feel about click tracks and that kind of thing? Would you guys use that, or are you guys like so attuned to just being classically trained?
For a recording, usually we'll use a click track unless it's a spot that's got like a tempo change or something.
Okay.
Like that. All the first album is done on a click.
Mhm.
Most of the second album will probably be done on a click. Sorry, most of your favorite albums are done to clicks.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Listening. So most of our studio stuff is done to clicks. Our live performance is not done to a click at all. That sounds almost impossible, especially given that we don't have the budget or the experience using stuff like in-ear monitors. I'm sure we could do it. But I think also, again, like I said, a big part of our live shows is organic, and we improvise a lot.
Right.
And I'm looking right at Colin right now.
Nice.
So obviously there was like a lot of negative impact from the pandemic on you guys just being kind of a live performance band. Was there any kind of like positive effect that had on just being in quarantine and maybe like refining some other things that weren't performance related?
Yeah, we got plenty of. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Being stuck at home really let me be a lot more creative because I wasn't doing anything else, so I could just do whatever I wanted to at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that really helped.
Same.
Yeah, I'd say we all got a lot better skills wise.
Yeah.
That's good.
We got an album done with pretty much no interference at all from having to balance a ton of work or a ton of like live shows or anything like that. It was just like, well, shoot, this is actually a thing we get to do.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of just a nice kind of, okay, it's a break in a way where it's like, okay, well, we can't perform, but I guess you guys had time to kind of reflect on things. It's probably a good thing.
I'd say you could take the positive out of that for sure.
What I was going to ask is, you kind of talked about your live shows a little bit. What kind of things could people expect from a live show from movers? Like what's the energy like?
If someone had never heard of your band before, and if there wasn't any videos, what would you explain makes you stand out, I guess?
We like to put it together prior. We like to plan it out a certain way. We really think about the song order and whatnot because we want it to be this
energy to flow nicely between.
Yeah, we want it to be an experience every time. So
Yeah.
Right.
Just like Colin was saying, with the with show programming and things like that, it's just such a big deal to us because like another criticism I was talking about earlier of a lot of like bands, especially like younger bands and bands that are just starting out, is that they'll go up there, and I see this a lot, is that they'll go up there and they'll play songs, but they won't really go up there and play a show, and they won't really perform, if you know what I mean, as in like they stand up there and they'll just sing songs, and that's okay if like that's their style of band, and if people are there to watch songs being played. But a big thing that sets us apart is that we do program our shows out way in advance, and that we like to go out there and not just play songs and put on an actual performance and have lots of crowd engagement and do things that a lot of bands don't really do, kind of at kind of a lower level and at a local level, I should say, for lack of a better term. And that's just how we operate, how we like to do things.
That's like, I'm glad to hear that that's how you guys describe yourself, because I have two favorite indie bands, I guess I would describe them. One is a band called Public from Cincinnati, and the other is a band called Last Dinosaurs from Australia. And basically Last Dinosaurs, like, because they're from Australia, they did a US tour in 2019. And I was so excited to see them because if there's international bands, like, what are the chances you're going to see them again?
Yeah.
And they pretty much played their set list exactly how it sounds on the album. And like, the only reason why I was really disappointed is because this other band, Public, it's kind of like how you guys said, it seems like they almost script out their entire live show, and like it's very theatrical. They know how all the songs are going to transition. And, I've seen them like 5 times live, and it almost feels like they're saying the exact same thing, but it's an experience, kind of like the world of Coke, like if you've never been in the world of Coke, like,
This is the third
it's pretty
podcast you
cool.
mentioned the world of Coke, Kory.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, basically with them, it's like, I know exactly when the bass player is going to like do like a cartwheel front flip or something. I know exactly what all these little theatrical nuances is, but it's that little extra effort that whenever they play a guitar solo, it's different every single time. I've seen Last Dinosaurs twice, and every single guitar solo was exactly the same. So it's that little bit of extra effort. I think it's like it has to be an experience. It's not like another just rehearsal for what the album sounds like.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So as a band, kind of when you're coming together doing your little jam sessions, what's like the day-to-day operations for your band? Like what's rehearsal, songwriting, kind of how's that process like?
Well, a lot of times we will, practice what we've already got so that
Right.
we can stay on top of everything. But when writing, we will have just like long practices, and a lot of times, like if we're like really trying to get something written, then we'll have like maybe like a full weekend of like all day practice Saturday, all day practice Sunday, and like just really grind something out. And we usually do end up having at least a good bit of material that we can do something with.
Okay. The dogs have a response to that apparently, but kind of going a little more in detail on the songwriting. Is it kind of a whole collaborative effort, or is there like someone in particular that's like, hey guys, I think we should use this lyrically, or how's the kind of songwriting process come together?
So like usually one of us will usually we have the lyrics first. One of us will come up with the lyrics. That has 99.9% of the time been this man Drew Cerero for lyrics. There have been some alterations to lyrics here and there to make them just like flow with the music better. But after we have the lyrics, then we'll get together like Brian said, and usually we'll try to like jam. We'll talk about like how the music is like supposed to like feel, like the mood and whatnot. Bunch of buzzwords essentially, and then we'll try to like jam. Someone will lay something down, and we'll all join in and record it on one of our phones and try to take stuff from what we get from different jams.
Okay, cool.
So when the lyrics come first, just because when I write, I usually write the music first always, and then the challenge is me trying to find words that go with the music, or the thematic concept or whatever. When you write lyrics first, and I guess this might be a question for Drew, is it kind of like you're writing poetry or a script or something, and then you're trying to incorporate that into what the music would be, or are you thinking of like a melody and words that are already going with that melody?
Well, we don't like I don't necessarily always write the words first for the songs. Sometimes a lot of times Brian and Colin will get together and they'll come up with a riff or a lick or something like that. Actually, you can on Ghost Rider. That was on the first album. That was one specifically that I can think of that I think Brian came up with the guitar riff, and then he taught it to Colin, and then Colin played it, and then Brian added a bass part, and I think the lyrics on that one were actually the last thing. But as we kind of dive more into the more conceptual type stuff and the more prog, like really kind of more hard, kind of truer prog, it was kind of the direction we're moving a little more like Pink Floyd or like Genesis, where the lyrics have definitely came first, and I generally just kind of write them as a story if I think about it, especially with this next album. But again, it definitely kind of depends on what we're writing and what we want to do with the music and what the album is like. So I guess specifically speaking for this next album, for the first track, which is already out as a single, The Race, that one was kind of when we all wrote in tandem. I had some ideas for lyrics. Then we came up with this melody line on the keyboard, which was really cool because this was the first song Jack actually recorded with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of did that all at the same time. And then the last track on the album was sort of the same way, but in the middle section there's a concept. It is a concept album, and then the title track for the album is called "The Futurist at the End of Time." There's 4 songs that is all part of one story, and so I wrote all those lyrics beforehand. And
Right.
We're kind of we put most of it to music, and we're kind of in the process of ironing out the rest of it right now. And so that's kind of how it works. There's not really any sort of structure or strict kind of rules to anything we do. We kind of just play what we feel, and we have so much material that we've recorded and that we've wrote down that we mix and match, and something comes out the other end. Plus X amount of improvisation on our end too, because we do that as well, and that's another big part of our sound and how we write and how we compose and play.
Gotcha.
Sounds pretty seamless the way you got it set up. Just a kind of a little aside here. I remember, Drew, when you were living with Kory and I, there was like one night when you were out doing something, you came back home and you're like, I don't know, you're like, oh, you've never listened to Rush before? You gotta listen to Rush. And we were like listening through stuff, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And you're like, oh, but I gotta show you the stuff that I'm working on with some of my friends. And you showed me like a kind of a demo of Take Me Off of the Road, and I didn't realize at the time what it was until like, because I for whatever reason I like recorded us like listening to it, like I took a video on Snapchat or whatever, and like 2 years later in my Snapchat memories I was like, oh my god, holy shit, this is Take Me Off of the Road. Drew showed me this like a year and a half before it was released, so I thought that was pretty cool. Got a little sneak preview.
To ever hear that, I think.
But yeah, very very cool indeed.
I didn't know you did that. That's kind of cool.
It's funny that like a lot of times I think people love live performances of a song better, but I think in that instance it's really cool to like hear a song live or like a demo of it first, and then like you hear what the final recording is and like just kind of piece it together that's what it is. Like that's really an amazing experience.
Yeah, especially with a song like "Take Me Off the Road" too, because it's our easiest song, quote unquote. But it's probably the most accessible. It's the first track. It's the shortest, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we do it live, we totally ham it up and we add notes and we improvise and we add stuff on the end and stuff at the beginning, and we do a 2112 tag every once in a while. All sorts of crazy shit to that song, but at the heart of it, it's still that song. And it's always cool to see people out there who have the t-shirts and who are actually singing along to those words, and they know the song, even
that's
though,
awesome.
We're kind of out there messing around with it and having a lot of fun with it.
Well, that was one of the songs that we had written in high school, actually, because a lot of, or at least a good many of the tracks on the first album were songs that we've had for a while that we just thought were good enough to be like, well, we need to actually just put these to an album. And so, I mean, it was kind of, that album was kind of more so like a compilation of like, I guess like our adolescence of writing music in the beginning, and maybe like the next year and a half or two of writing more and becoming more mature over time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then like we still retrofitted the older music to like our current skill levels at the time, and then just all put it in an album.
Yeah, that is. I do agree that "Take Me Off the Road" definitely sounds like the most like accessible song, maybe for like people who aren't too familiar with like prog rock. But then as you get deeper into the album, you have what was it, Marcus's Desolation? That you get like in deep there. I love that. What would you like? I don't know a whole lot about like kind of the prog rock genre. What would you call that song? Like, is it like a, I don't know if there's like a word for it, like a.
It's a progressive rock epic.
Epic. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, that there's a lot going on there, and I love it. It's great. For sure.
We really appreciate that. Yeah, it's
It
yeah,
was
what-
our first stab at one of those.
yeah, and there's the next album actually has chapter 2 on it, and it's even
Okay.
longer and more ridiculous. So,
Awesome.
but it's also
Awesome.
I actually really wanted to talk about this, so I'm just gonna jump right into it because
Sure,
Go
go
for it.
ahead.
that's the last track on our next album. But it's the chapter 1's like 12 minutes. This one's probably gonna be like 15. But it's both a prog rock epic, but at the same time, it's kind of making fun of ourselves. It's a little tongue in cheek because it's making fun of ourselves for how absolutely ridiculous and a little bit youthfully naive the first Marcus's Desolation
Mhm.
was. And so, I think it comes out really well. It's right now, it's my favorite thing. If I don't know if I can speak for any.
Oh, it is absolutely my favorite thing.
Okay.
It's my
Okay.
favorite thing to play as well.
Sweet. Very cool. Do you have like without giving away too much, do you have like a release date? Like you hope that it's out by like the end of 2022 or what you guys have?
Oh, earlier tentatively it'll be late January, early February.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
Sweet.
is it going to be a birthday release?
Yeah, put it on your calendars. Is February 19th is actually our release show. That'll be at Nowhere Bar.
Okay.
Not sure who our support is yet, but it'll be there and it'll be a good time. So put it on your calendars for everybody listening. By the way.
Awesome.
So one thing I wanted to ask y'all real quick is, do the four of you like record everything and produce it yourselves, or what's the process like there?
No.
We go to a studio. Well, the first album and this album, at least, we've been going to Standard Electric Recorders Company, and
Okay.
it's around Decatur, and I have a few friends that are in other bands that record with him. Damon Moon is his name. He's kind of a wizard. That's just
It's good to have one of those.
kind of looks like a wizard too. So that's cool. But yeah, we just kind of jumped into his place. He used to have like a smaller kind of house that he just like kind of converted into a studio, but then he moved to this old church that was built in like the early 1900s and had like a whole professional like there's a company that actually builds recording studios, like, and so he had them come in and like do all this sound engineering, change like walls and everything inside, and literally turned a church into a studio. So that's cool. It's really
That's really
bigger.
cool.
It's got a lot of space. It sounds really good, and I like that place a lot.
Yeah, it's
so.
a really good space. Excited to get back there. We'll be back there in 2 weeks. So
Yeah, everything sounds like top notch, but I mean, was there a method there that you guys were having of like, a lot of bands are a little bit DIY. They want to produce it themselves. Did you guys know that like, hey, we want someone to record this for us or help us with that?
dude, I don't think we could have produced the first album at the level that it was if we had done it ourselves, and we most certainly wouldn't have been able to do the second one without the professional quality. He's got 13 mics on the drums alone, and I think
Wow.
Right.
4. So
Yeah,
total.
this is
Colin's got the other one. Yeah.
That's like something I do think about, like 13 mics for like drums is like Nirvana's third album, like they had like 45 microphones on like Dave Grohl's drum set, and that like I couldn't imagine spending that much money as like an independent band and trying to record that same level of sound.
No way
Yeah,
we could have done it.
that
But
is-
I think we got it at an incredibly high level, and it's a hats off to Damon too for just absolutely making, especially with the stuff we play, which is completely different than I think anything he'd probably done before. And he just like I still find things in the mix and the master that I'm like, wow, did we do that or did Damon do that? And most of the time it was Damon, because I'm like, that was fucking awesome, like I never even heard that before in my own music.
So what kind of music does Damon usually like manage over?
well, he does a lot actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
he has told us that there weren't really many bands that came like similar to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had told us that himself. But I mean, there was a lot of I mean, like the trends right now,
Yeah.
like all the
indie kind of.
all the indie stuff, and
Yeah, he did.
but he
did Dinner Time, and he did. Did he do Lunar, or did he?
not of recent, maybe like a long time
he
ago.
did Lunar like a long time ago.
Okay.
So that kind of vibes it's what's popular.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done like, I mean, probably just about anything under the sun.
Yeah, I think he's got
But-
country and folk in there too that he's also recorded, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's hired gun. He's great. So if you ever need to record an album, Standard Electric Recorders go with Damon Moon.
Well, it's got to be a pretty cool thing to hear then. It's talking about how he says that you guys sound pretty what'd you say? He said he sounds pretty you guys sound like different. Yeah, that's kind of a cool compliment.
So is it better in a sense that you guys went with someone who is more well-rounded in like a million different genres, and if you guys could have found someone who could have produced it and he was like very good at his one genre, I guess?
Well, I just knew that he was good at recording and everything, what he does. So that's like why we went to him first, and also because I got to know him beforehand and everything. I mean, I'm not sure what we're going to do in the future, like for next albums and everything. I mean, that'll just come in time to make decisions as part of progressing, the nature of the band.
So a question we wanted to ask is just because we noticed it last second at the bottom of Spotify. Are you guys signed to Flophouse Records, or what's going on there?
That is us.
Okay.
Okay.
We are
Gotcha.
Flophouse Records. Yeah,
Where's the name come from?
Oh man,
That's a story.
yeah. This was actually over COVID, like right at the beginning of it, when we didn't have anything else to do, and Brian and I we grew up down the street from each other. We're neighbors. We grew up friends, playing music, all that stuff. During COVID, we spent a lot of time at my house. I know we were breaking social distancing, but it was just the two of us and my brother.
It was the two of us and all of your brothers.
Oh yeah, all my siblings anyway,
Like,
who are
stepbrothers
also
included.
guys now in their 20s. So we were downstairs in the basement because there's nothing else to do, and all we did was play video games all day and drink beer. We drank so much beer, and there's like beer cans everywhere. There's a mattress on the floor, and so anyway, it was about a week of this or so, thereabouts. And my stepdad comes down, and he goes, "Wow, this place is a shithole. It looks like a Flophouse in there in here." And we took Flophouse and absolutely just ran with it. And so now everything is a Flophouse. We're at the Flophouse V3 right now, where Brian and I live.
Yeah.
And last year where we lived was the V2. The original one was the V1, my parents' house. And
His parents' basement.
yeah, and so that is the original Flophouse. So this is more movers lore. And Flophouse is it's kind of like our thing now. We kind of that's why we call all our house shows spelled Haus, just for the memes. And I actually got that idea from the Birdhouse down in States.
The Birdhouse. That's
it works really well with ours. So it's almost independently discovered, but not. I'll give credit there because it was a cool place. I wish it was come back. But aside, so everything is now the Flophouse. And we have a whole friend group. The group chat's name is Flophouse because everybody wanted to be part of it. It's just yeah. And so Flophouse Records. That's it. Flophouse
All right.
Brewing. That's our brewery.
Okay, that's good. It's coming up.
Repair and lessons.
What else?
Flophouse moving.
Flophouse, real estate.
Yeah, Flophouse
I
Real
guess
Estate.
just all kinds of
Another
stuff.
idea.
Yeah, it's a
Got it. Got
brand.
it.
Flop soft.
So I think in just kind of closing things up. So we know that we have the second album on the way. Anything else that we can expect from the future? Any promotional tour plans, or what can we expect from Movers?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff. Actually, we're actually working on the tour right now for the spring, so should be out pretty
Oh.
soon. Just got to secure some dates. There's also another project that we're going to be a part of. Actually, we're actually doing this in the studio when we go there in a couple weeks. There was a guy who Colin found him on Reddit, and he's a guy. Some guy posted on the Rush subreddit. He owns his own record label up in Cleveland. It's called Twice as High Records, and they do vinyl prints and stuff like that. And he's partnering with a bigger record label up there. I don't remember the name of it, but he's doing he's putting together a Rush like LP, I guess, Rush cover album, and he's getting a bunch of different bands from I guess around the country, and I guess that's why he went on the internet. And so it's pretty early in his process right now. We've been in touch with him on email, and so we're going to get featured in that, playing or covering Circumstances off of Hemispheres by Rush. Anyway, we're working on a project that involves Rush and another bigger record label.
Okay. Wow.
With some guy from Cleveland, and that Colin found on Reddit. That's the gist of it before I spoil anything else.
Gotcha.
Cool.
You're privy to some very nice, juicy information.
Okay, I'm gonna go tell everybody I know about it. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, fellas, it's been great having you on the show. You know, you're our first band in this kind of unofficial series we're starting as part of the podcast, where we're interviewing kind of these independent freelance artists that are up and coming and everything. So thank you for being the first part of that series. You know, we'd love to have you on again, you know, in the future after, you know, the album drops, or maybe after the tour, or, you know, after this Rush experience. So just again, thank you for your time and for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. We're glad to
Thank
be here.
you.
yeah, you guys are awesome. Love your music.
All right.
It's good stuff.
See you guys.
Peace out.
See ya.